Good morning. Good morning. What's happening, Jerome? What's good with you, boss? All right. Good morning. Good morning. What's happening, Jerome? Let's go ahead and get started. Let me just tell the chat real quick. All right. Let's hop on into it. If I have any issues with like audio or video, let me know. Hopefully we're a bit clearer on the video today. Still not crystal clear, still working on that, but hopefully clearer than what we were yesterday. All right. Let's go ahead and hop off into these charts. One sec here. Oh. All right, cool. All right, let's go ahead and start the morning off with SPY. So like we've been saying all week, the thought process is that the market would bottom either yesterday or today. Let's still keep an open mind that there's a possibility that that might happen. But let's also consider that the market is weak and that it may not bottom right here, that it may just, continue to fall a bit more. So let's see what the market gives us and we'll react when we see something different, but for now, it looks like we're continuing to slide to the downside. So when we open up, we're going to be somewhere between 437 and 434.50. All right. What we want to see SPY do, or what we want SPY to do in regards to bouncing or holding up, is to basically hold this level right here, this 434.50. If SPY can do that, then there's a possibility that they start to go ahead and buy this thing back up and we get a push back to the upside. Now, I'm not quite seeing that just yet, but again, that could happen today. All right, so just keep an open mind. I'm not going to go through the other indices because I'm sure everything is down this morning. But what I really want to focus on is kind of like, the plays for today. All right. So I actually did a video about this for YouTube. I just got to upload it. But last night I recorded a video about Apple. And my thought process is this. I tweeted this out, or rather I sent this out to the chat yesterday. Apple printed a 4-point bearish candle yesterday, 4.5 actually. So that means that the bears have now taken control of this chart. The last time that this happened was shortly after earnings. Let me step out a few months so you can see. The last time that this happened shortly after earnings was here. All right. So if you take a look at the candle from April the 29th. All right, if you take a look at the candle from April the 29th, it was a 4.62 candle. All right, meaning the size of the candle for that day was 4.6 points. All right, so it was a 4-point day. We got that candle. We pulled back. Let me zoom in a little bit. All right, slide this thing over just a little. All right, here we go. All right, so here's earnings right here. Earnings was on April the 28th. The next day, we had that big candle. Not only do we have that big candle, but it also happened at the top. All right, so they suckered new investors in, and then they sold it off. And then after they sold it off, there was a little pullback, and then boom, it fell to the floor, right? So what we're looking for is a similar type of move. I don't know if this is going to create, a 10 to 15 point move to the downside, but it was basically from 137 to 122. So that was about 15 points. So let's assume we can get 10 to 15 points to the downside in this particular situation. All right. So let's zoom all the way over. Let's go back to what Apple is looking like now. All right, one sec. I'm on the 4 hour. Give me one sec. Let me flip over to the daily. Okay, let's zoom all the way back over. Here's that example again. Bearish candle, price fell. All right. Now, if we go ahead and we zoom back to today or yesterday's candle, we got that first bearish candle. It happened at the top shortly after earnings. All right. And also showed you guys from the Earnings Whisper report that their recommendation was to sell Apple following strength after earnings. And that's exactly, I think, what we should be doing at this point. I didn't want to do that until I saw something like this. I mean, previous to yesterday's candle, this was bullish, not just bullish, but like bullish AF, So, but now that things have changed, I definitely want to consider puts to the downside. I don't want to buy them yet off of this like move this morning, like pretty much this continuation. What I would rather do is buy them off of a small pullback. So if we can get Apple to pull back at some point today or tomorrow, then what I want to do is I want to go ahead and step into September 17 puts, and I want to look at the 140s and the 135s. All right. So September 17 Apple puts, I want to look at, I'm good looking at the 145s as well. If price can break back over that level and pull these contracts back out of the money. TM at some point. Yeah, for sure. All right. And we got 140 and 135 puts. I think those will work too. So the move for today is to wait for a pullback and wait for Apple to go a bit higher than what it is right now. So maybe back over 145, and then to step into September 17, 140 and 135 puts. All right. With the thought process being that the bears have now taken control with printing this 4-point candle. All right. And then we're looking for price to fall. Let me just show you the target here real quick. We're looking for price to fall down towards this key level between 136 and 134. All right. So a nice little solid move. All right. So keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and go over TM real quick for J. Roy before I forget. What is this? Or Toyota. Huh, I don't trade this. Crazy. All right, let me take a look at Toyota here. Let's see. Probably got to draw a level there. What else we got here, J. Roy? Probably need to draw a level here. Let's call it actually... Probably need to draw a level there. All right. And where else? We're probably missing a level somewhere here. Let's take a look. Probably here. All right. All right. So at this point, J. Roy, I would be looking for price to fall down towards 173. I'd be looking for that next. And then if we got down below 173, I'd be looking for a 10-point move down further to about 163. Let's see if we got anything else to line up with that. Yep. About right here. Perfect. All right. Major chip shortage, and then just announced a 40% drop in production. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, that definitely makes sense. So I would look for a fall to 173 first, and then if we got down below that, I would look for a continuation or basically a box breakdown, right? But from this high here of 185 down to this low of 173. So that's a 12-point box. So underneath, you could probably fall down to as low as like 161. All right. So that's kind of what I'm looking for here with Toyota. Let's go over AMC. Sweet. Let's go over AMC. We hopped into this one yesterday. I'm still bullish on this chart until otherwise. All right. We basically ran up to this 3702 level, which is a key level. It's been the highest close on this particular weekly chart for the past 5 to 6 weeks. And so we just want to see price continue to stay near this 3702 level and to begin trading above it. Now, we hopped in yesterday because we were trading above that level and we were holding it pretty nicely. And I still think we're going to turn around and do so. But the bands are tight right now and they might just be keeping us inside of the bands for another day or two. So just continue to stay patient. We have September 17th. All right. Let's take a look at AMD. So let me zoom in on this one first because I got my lines everywhere. All right. So with AMD, I mentioned on the live either yesterday or day before that 105.74 was our line in the sand. If AMD broke 105.74, we were to step into 103 puts for this week. All right. And if we weren't going to get those, then we were going to step into 100 puts for this week. Now, all I can say is this, is that if you got those, I believe I called those contracts around 70 cents. The 103 contracts were around 70 cents. And last I checked, they were at least double that. So good trade if you took it. Price is currently going to open up underneath 103. And I would expect for us to go ahead and continue to fall down towards 100 since we have not retested that level yet. All right. And we could potentially fall as far as 97. All right. 97 and a quarter. So I would say being that it's Thursday, you probably want to start to look at next week's contracts. All right. Or you want to wait for AMD to pull back a little bit just to kind of, give you somewhat of a relief, make your contracts a bit cheaper, those puts. And then you can go ahead and step on in and take a look at those 100s for next week or maybe even like 99s. All right. But still pretty much shorting AMD at this point. All right. Boeing, we talked about this one at the end of the day yesterday. I recommended 217.50 puts. And if you bought those, when the market opens up, those will be in the money. All right. Yesterday, I believe they were $1.14 when I mentioned them at the live. And I'm positive they'll be higher than that at this point. All right. So there's a gap to fill here from this candle right here. The high of this candle was 217.37. So it looks like that gap will have been filled. And next we could fall all the way down to 214. So look for 214 on Boeing next. And basically we're just still falling here. All right. Let's go back to Beyond. All right, Beyond looks like Beyond retested resistance yesterday, which was 120. And this morning, it looks like it's being pushed off of that level because it's going to open up below the close from yesterday. So still looking for this one to fall down towards 109 or 110. Just hasn't quite gotten there yet. Maybe it'll get there over the next day or two. I'm still looking for like an 8-point candle, and that could potentially get us all the way there. But at this point in the week, you may want to start to consider Beyond puts, 110 puts for next week instead of still focusing on this week, because you don't know if that 10-point move is gonna be 8-point move is gonna be today, tomorrow, next week. So just give yourself some time to win. That's it. All right. DoorDash, man, I am so glad I decided to just just be patient with this move because I tell you what, they're just trying to get you. Now they're just trying to get you. All right. So they gave you a nice bullish setup here yesterday. And then today, we open up to almost a 10-point gap down. What is that? What is that? That's garbage. All right. So what we do with garbage? We throw that out. All right. So I'm getting that off of my watch list. Forget that. Okay. NIO probably pissing a few people off this morning. Yesterday, it kind of messed with bears a little bit and price pushed on up to 39.51. We were in some puts and I recommended potentially closing those if price were to break over 38.30. And good recommendation because obviously we pushed a full point higher. All right, so now that this Neo has retested 39.51, maybe it's going to find resistance here like it should, and then roll back over and make its way down towards 34. So I would be looking at, as long as Neo can continue to stay below 39.50, I would start to look at 34 puts for next week. All right, or I would take a look at like 37 puts for next week. Okay, those would probably be best, actually, 37 puts. So consider 37 to 34 puts for Neo next week, as long as price can stay underneath 39.50. All right. All right, Nikola. We took a small little flyer on some Nikola calls yesterday. I still think this one is trying to bottom out. We got the Bollinger Band bottom play. Now we're expecting price to head up towards this 12 to 13 level. So we just got to let the play on out. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look and see how Nvidia did after earnings. Looks like they're bouncing a little bit, but nothing that I would be getting involved in at this point, especially considering that they took an earnings smack. Oh my goodness. So they reported $3.10 a share 2 quarters ago. Last quarter, they reported $3.66 a share. And then this quarter, they reported $1. So if anything, we want to probably be buying Nvidia puts. I'm just not quite too sure that they're going to be cheap enough for my taste just quite yet. But what I will say is this. Let me zoom in just a little. There is resistance at this key level of 193.75. So potentially price is pulling back into that level this morning. And if it finds resistance there, then I would look for price to drop down towards 189. And then under 189, we're looking for price to fall down towards 182. So if you wanted to play this one, I would wait until price kind of showed some weakness around this resistance level, this 193.75. And then if I saw that, then I would start to consider probably hopping into 189 puts. All right, 190, 189 puts for next week. I wouldn't play with this week's. All right. All right, Planeteer. This is one that we've been in for several days. What we did was we saw this power earnings gap here, and then we gave the chart a try one of these 2 days after. All right, and so we were in 25 calls. Those closed yesterday in the money, and pretty much looking for price to get above 25.42 today so that it could begin making its way up towards 27.38. And if that happens, if we can get above 27.38, then we're looking for price to fly towards 37. All right, so one step at a time, but this chart is still looking pretty good despite the market being under pressure. All right, you guys let me know if you have any other chart requests this morning as well. I added Roblox back to our list because it showed up on the uptrend scanner yesterday, and it kind of surprised me, to be honest, because the last time I saw it, it was trading underneath 76. So, you know, a big reversal between, you know, the last couple of days, and, you know, potentially price can move higher if we can get above 85.51. So I have my alert set, and I will not touch this unless price broke above 85.51. All right, SPY we already discussed. Remember just to kind of stay on your toes, and remember that it could be bottoming today because the pattern in the last 3 months has been that the low of the month, or either the low of this week, is typically printed on the 18th or the 19th of the month. Okay, and today is the 19th. So just be aware that, you know, you may have to kind of close your eyes and just buy calls and hope for the best. All right, let's take a look at Tesla. So with the rest of the market still being under pressure, with us actually, you know, considering buying AMD puts and Apple puts, I probably would stay away from Tesla as well. So with Tesla, we want to remember, let me actually bring my levels back. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so easier to see now that my lines are back on the chart. just look at how beautiful resistance, support and resistance is. When you factor this into your trading, it's just a game changer. So yesterday, we had a move. Price broke above the high of the previous day and then pushed up towards the key level of 695. So for me, I can't do anything with Tesla until, again, it gets back over the key level of 695. Now, over 695, I'll take a flyer on 715s, okay? But until we can clearly get back over or cleanly get back over 695, I probably got to go ahead and leave this alone. And if anything, I'd be looking for a price to roll back over. And, maybe we want to start to consider, 660 puts again for later in the week. Okay. I'm not recommending those right at this second, but again, that would make sense for price to pretty much bounce. All right. From this sell here, we had a nice, this is almost 100 points, right? So probably like 80, 90 point dip. Price, people took profits, right? So anybody that made money from this sell was able to exit with this move here. And now you would expect for folks that took profits to be looking to get back in and push it back down some more. So at this point, unless price can close above 695 or really break above it and hold that level, then we probably don't want to get calls for Tesla. If anything, we probably want to be looking at Tesla puts for around the 660 to 655 level. All right. I missed SPY. What are the levels? No worries. No worries. Let's go to SPY. All right. Just waiting for my levels to show back up. Okay, cool. All right. So I highlighted some levels here with SPY yesterday. I believe we're going to open up between 437 and 434.50. What you want to see is price pretty much get rejected at this 437 level. Now, also remember that over the last 3 months, the bottom for these moves that happened during the middle of the month have occurred on the 18th or the 19th. So let's just look back at the past. Here's July 19th. All right, this was a down day, but it also turned out to be, the bottom before we had to move up. Let's go back to June. This is June the 18th. That turned out to be the bottom before price pushed on up. Okay, so we got to be very careful with today in terms of puts because it could be the bottom because that's what we've seen the past 3 months previously. All right, if I go back one more month, you'll see the same thing. Price came down either the 18th or the 19th, and then that was the low before it pushed higher. All right, so, it may be worth a flyer just to take some calls off of, blind faith. All right, but at the same time, I typically like to have a signal to make me a bit more comfortable. So, totally your call. But anyway, keep your head on a swivel relative to puts for the SPY. But some of this other stuff that we're looking at selling like Apple and AMD, just go ahead and take it for on a chart by chart basis. But definitely SPY could dip a bit more. I would be looking for it to maybe fall down towards 434.50, but I would also be happy, just snatching up any puts too. Because if you took this puts yesterday, price closed at 439. I mean, we got a nice 3-point gap down. I'd go ahead probably and just run that. All right. Run that all money in. I'll take my dough. All right. There was a whole bunch of stuff on the pre-market scanner this morning. So we got about 3 minutes before the market opens. Let me just take a look at it real quick here. All right. If you guys want me to look at any other charts, go ahead and let me know. Appreciate it. All right, what do we have here? There's Macy's, there's Apple with some attention this morning. Here's Planeteer, Nvidia, Baba, Wish, all of these names. Lots of open interest before the market even opens. Looks like 1 million open interest. I mean, not open interest, but volume. Looks like 1 million volume before the market even opens. All of those names. Planeteer, Apple, Nvidia, Baba, Wish, right? So potentially big days in all of those names. We got Hood, AMC, Pfizer, Clove. Like, why all of these Wall Street bets names all of a sudden, right? It's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 5 of the names that we would potentially look at are, pretty strong Wall Street bets names, meaning they show up on that Wall Street bets list all the time. Here's a couple others. I believe the Sins, also Carnival, and I believe this is Kohl's. All right, so all of those are really Wall Street bets names. The last time that I saw this type of behavior, the market overall, like names that you'd be familiar with, like Apple, Boeing, etc., all of those names fell, and then the meme stocks, took over and were pushing up while everything else was kind of getting wrecked. So I'm expecting to see the same type of behavior this week or coming up next week. And so we'll just see what happens. All right. But one other thing I wanted to add about AMC is that yesterday we saw, if you took a look at the option statistics, we saw that there were $2.7 million in September 17, 38 calls that were purchased just yesterday. All right. And that translates into about almost 4,500 or about 4,500 calls that were bought on just that one strike. All right. So definitely looking for some near future activity in AMC, which is why we went ahead and hopped into it yesterday. So are we jumping on any of those? Which ones, Sam Mickens? What you talking about? Let me know what you're talking about, Sam Mickens. Oh, any of the, yeah, you know what? We're just gonna hop on AMC. We're just gonna hop on the King. That's it. We're in Planeteer already, so I guess the answer would be Planeteer, and AMC would be the way that we'll play it as far as these Wall Street bets names. All right, let me go ahead and flip back over to our primary list. Madi, remember what I said about managing profits appropriately on SPY, so good luck with that. All right, let me pull my list back up here. So the move that I'm looking for today is this. This is actually perfect. All right, I want to slap some Apple puts on a pullback. Give me a second here. Let me step into this. Let me zoom into this rather. All right. So let's let Apple pull up a little bit. Let's let our September 17 135 contracts get a little cheaper. Let's take a look at those. All right. So they actually went up. That's probably because folks are buying them. No, I'm probably not dealing with Clove and stuff and Wish and stuff like that because it's a bit too cheap as far as like the value of the actual stock. But what I am looking at is just, stepping into AMC and Planeteer calls and just kind of giving those some time to work out. So I prefer the September 17th for those. But as you see this, these Apple puts get cheaper and cheaper, this is what I'm looking at getting into, especially around, I think we closed at about 146.30 yesterday. So these Apple puts at around 124. Let me actually go ahead and call these inside of the Bands alert right now. Give me just a sec. All right, so call in September 17, Apple 135 puts last at 121. All right. So that is the game plan for Apple. Let me just screenshot it and then send this out to the chat real quick. All right. All right, boom. If you had Apple calls, hopefully you went ahead and closed those yesterday upon my recommendation that we were below 148. And now I think it's game time for us to go ahead and step into puts. All right, we want to sell any rips. And the thought process again is that we had over a 4-point bearish candle print yesterday, which means that the bears are now in control of this chart. And the last time that this happened, shortly after earnings, we had a 15-point fall from top to bottom. All right, so that's why we went ahead and are giving Apple puts a try today. All right, so that's that. Let me see if I see anything else. Neo is trying to stay underneath the 38 level, so thinking about 37 puts for next week. Not this week, but next week. Let's take a look at anything else here. All right, let's take a look at unusuals. Let's take a look at our scanners. Nothing on the unusual option scanner this morning. Let's take a look at the uptrend or the bottom scanner. All right, nothing on the bottom scanner so far. Let's take a look at the uptrend scanner. Nothing. All right. And let me take a look at this list right here. Oh, you know, let me look at Pfizer for you guys. I know somebody probably wants to see this. All right. Pfizer is a little interesting. All right, with price gapping down to the upper Bollinger Band, it feels a bit uncomfortable to actually just buy it right here. I need for this to hold today, or at least for like an hour or something, because this could very well be a rejection candle right here, where bulls were pretty much caught off guard, and now you know, the bears have taken control temporarily, and so you know, I need to see this 48.20 level hold for me to get bullish about this again. So I'd probably be holding off on Pfizer, just me personally. All right, AMD, as long as we can stay underneath 105.74, price should go ahead and fall down towards 100, so you can look at the 100 puts for next week. AMC, we're under pressure a little bit this morning. I'm still holding my contracts because we got September, so I'll just let that play out. And what else we got here, guys? Madi might have been right as far as selling banks yesterday. They were looking pretty good overall, but now they're still starting to melt or come down. So, Madi, that may be a good call. You got any specific bank you wanted me to look at? Uh-oh. Netflix is doing its thing. All right, so we talked about Netflix. You know what? This is still a no-go. Even though this trade is definitely set up, this is still a no-go. The environment's just not good for it. All right. The trade was very simple. Once we broke above 525, we were to step into 535 calls or 545 calls for this week or next week. However, with the market being kind of ugly right now, I'm just not really comfortable stepping into this trade. So I'll just pass on it for now. All right. So that's Netflix. Let me see what else is going on. Guys, that's it. That's really it this morning. This week has been definitely one of like patience, where you've had to exercise patience or else you probably got beat up. And if you did too much, there's a possibility you got beat up. All right, so as you kind of been seeing, I haven't really been calling 3 trades a day in the Bands alert like I have been the past few weeks because, you know, this market has been a lot more difficult to trade. And so you have to be a bit more careful. Anyway, if you hopped into Neo 37 puts for next week, those are probably starting to head in your direction, head your favor. And if you took those Boeing 217.50 puts from yesterday, those are now in the money. So congrats on those. And everything else is pretty much continue to observe. Our Apple puts are up already this morning, so that's good for the moment. We would definitely love to see this underneath 145. That would be even better. So I think that's it. Let me look around, just see if there's anything else. All right. Now today is going to be real important. So if you, if you have the opportunity, definitely you want to join the chat here at the end of the day. Just because I think there could be some good opportunities for us to buy and really get involved in some, some super discounted opportunities. But again, we want to take it just one day, one trade at a time. Madi, I hope you ran profits there on this SPY because it looks like it's trying to bounce here. After opening up at 436, it's up $1. So just to let you know. All right. Not to say that this won't fall throughout the rest of the day, but that just hasn't been the pattern so far. So we'll see. We'll see. Anybody got any other requests or any other chart names they want me to look at before we shut it down this morning? All right. Again, my number one play is probably Apple puts. I've explained that in the chat, and looking for at least a 10-point move down from where price closed at yesterday at 146.36. So looking for price to fall down towards 136 to 134, definitely before September 17. And the September 17, we have 10 points priced in for that date. So we have the options market pricing in a sizable move, or a move that works for us to hit target within that time period too. All right, and guys, that's it. I know our AMCs are down a bit this morning. I'm going to continue to hold those. I'll reevaluate this at the end of the day. I'm sure I'll probably be still holding it because of what I saw yesterday. I feel pretty confident those will hit. So just got to give it some time. Outside of that, last chance. Does anybody have any other trades or charts they want me to take a look at before we shut it down? Damn, those Boeing 217s just smacking. Told you, Jerome. Jerome was asking for an end-of-day play yesterday. I was like, bro, it's probably going to be that AMD or either that Boeing. All right. And it looks like that Boeing was definitely the one. All right. All right, guys. It's always a pleasure to do things for you live. Let's go ahead and bring it back this afternoon during Power Hour. And if there are any questions during the day, let me know in the chat. And outside of that, be patient if you're trying to buy the dip. If your game plan, if your strategy is to buy the dip today, just make sure that, you wait. All right. And then when you think it's probably time to get in, you should probably wait a little bit more. All right. That's just like the rule of thumb for real. I've just learned that over the years, just, like, damn, you know what? Okay, I think I've waited long enough. I'm going to hop in. Well, in reality, if you get that thing another hour, it just looks totally different. You're like, woo, I'm probably glad I waited a little bit. So just exercise patience. Patience pays. Patience pays. Patience pays. All right. All right, guys. Be blessed. Have a good day. Holler at your boy. And then I'll see you guys here at Power Hour.